Your mind is lying to you right now. And the terrifying part, you'll never catch it in the act. You think your thoughts are your own. You believe your opinions were formed through careful reasoning, independent analysis, personal experience. But what if I told you that the very structure of your thinking, the beliefs you hold most dear, the convictions you defend with your life, were planted there by forces you cannot see? Your mind is not as independent as you think it is. Carl Jung wrote something that should disturb you. He said the psyche of the individual is collectively linked to all of humanity. What does that mean? It means when everyone around you believes something, your perception begins to shift, whether you want it to or not. Your thoughts are not yours. In this video, we're going to expose the mechanisms your own mind uses to deceive you. From conformity experiments that prove you'll deny your own eyes to the psychological survival mechanisms that make you immune to facts. By the end, you'll understand why you can't trust your own mind, and more importantly, what you can do about it. The conformity trap. Imagine you're in a room with 7 other people. A researcher shows you a line on a card and asks you to match it to one of 3 comparison lines. It's obvious. Line C is clearly the correct answer. Anyone with functioning eyes can see it, but then something strange happens. One by one, the other 7 people all choose line A, confidently, without hesitation. Now it's your turn. What do? This was Solomon Asch's famous conformity experiment from the 1950s, and the results were staggering. People would rather be wrong with the group than right alone. 75% of participants conformed at least once. They denied the evidence of their own eyes to match the group. But here's what makes this truly disturbing. Those 7 people, they were actors planted by Asch. The real subject was always alone in their wrongness. And yet, the pressure to conform was so overwhelming that intelligent, capable adults abandoned their own perception of reality. Think about that. If you can be made to doubt something as simple as the length of a line, what chance do your complex beliefs have against social pressure? Doubt your certainty, but conformity is just the beginning of how your mind betrays you. Collective psyche. Jung proposed something radical. He said beneath your personal unconscious lies a deeper layer, the collective unconscious, a psychic substrate shared by all of humanity. This isn't mysticism. It's the recognition that we're connected to patterns of thought and behavior that transcend individual experience. The collective unconscious contains the whole spiritual heritage of mankind's evolution. When a belief becomes dominant in your environment, it doesn't just influence you. It begins to colonize your perception. You start seeing evidence that confirms it everywhere. You dismiss contradicting information as noise. The belief feels like it came from within, but it was absorbed from without. Have you ever noticed how you can predict what your friend group will think about any given issue? How everyone seems to reach the same conclusion, independently, at roughly the same time? That's not coincidence. That's the collective psyche in action. You are thinking thoughts that were never originally yours. Your tribe's beliefs become your beliefs, not through argument or evidence, but through osmosis, through the simple fact of belonging. And the moment you question those beliefs, you feel something deeper than intellectual disagreement. You feel the threat of exile. Now that you're beginning to see this pattern, hit like and subscribe to keep exploring the depths of your psyche with me. Because what comes next will make you question everything you think you know. Mass psychosis. Here's where it gets truly terrifying. In a mass psychosis, the delusion doesn't feel like delusion. It feels like finally waking up. The believer feels righteous, part of something bigger, on the right side of history. Throughout history, entire populations have fallen under collective spells. The witch trials, the cultural revolutions, the mass hysterias that gripped nations. We look back and wonder how intelligent people could believe such obvious nonsense. But here's what we fail to understand. They didn't experience it as nonsense. They experienced it as revelation. When everyone around you shares the same delusion, it stops being a delusion. It becomes consensus reality. The social proof is overwhelming. Madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, nations, and ages, it is the rule. And the truly insidious part. The more extreme the belief, the stronger the sense of community. The more you sacrifice for the delusion, the more invested you become in defending it. Trapped, you're not just believing something false. You're building your identity around it. And that's why what I'm about to tell you will change how you approach every disagreement. Survival mechanism. Why is it so hard to change someone's mind with facts? Because you're not fighting misinformation. You're fighting their psychological survival mechanism. When a belief is deeply held, it becomes fused with identity. To attack the belief is to attack the self. And the self has elaborate defense systems. Denial, rationalization, projection, cognitive dissonance reduction. 1. First, your brain dismisses contradicting information. 2. Then it attacks the source of that information. 3. Finally, it strengthens the original belief. This is called the backfire effect. Show someone evidence their belief is wrong, and they often believe it more strongly afterward. Their mind interprets the challenge as a threat and doubles down. Think about the last time someone presented you with facts that contradicted something you deeply believed. Did you carefully evaluate the evidence? Or did you immediately start finding reasons to dismiss it? Facts don't change minds. We like to think we're rational creatures who form beliefs based on evidence. But the research is clear. We're rationalizing creatures who form beliefs based on belonging, then construct evidence to justify them. But there's something even more insidious happening beneath the surface. Perception shift. Here's what the conformity experiments don't fully capture. When people conform, they're not just saying the wrong answer to fit in. Many of them actually begin to see it differently. Their perception shifts. A study using brain imaging showed that when people conform, the parts of the brain associated with visual processing actually change their activity. The group literally changes what you see. This is profound. It means social influence doesn't just affect what you say or do, it affects what you perceive as real. The line doesn't just feel like the wrong length. It starts to look like the wrong length. When everyone around you believes something, your brain begins to construct a reality that confirms it. You see what you're expected to see. You hear what you're expected to hear. You remember what you're expected to remember. Your eyes report to your brain, but your brain reports to your tribe. And when there's a conflict, tribe wins. This is why eyewitness testimony is so unreliable. This is why memories can be implanted. This is why you can be absolutely certain about something that never happened. And this leads us to the most disturbing question of all: righteous feeling. The most dangerous beliefs are the ones that feel righteous. When you believe you're fighting for truth, justice, or the good of humanity, any tactic becomes justified. Any dissent becomes evil. Any doubt becomes betrayal. Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. History's greatest atrocities weren't committed by people who thought they were doing evil. They were committed by people who were absolutely certain they were doing good. The feeling of righteousness is not evidence of truth. It's evidence of conviction. And conviction can be manufactured. When you feel most certain, when your moral outrage burns hottest, when you're absolutely sure you're on the right side, that's precisely when you should be most skeptical of yourself. Certainty is dangerous because the feeling of being right and actually being right are two completely different things. Your brain cannot tell the difference. It produces the same neurochemical reward whether you've discovered actual truth or simply found agreement with your tribe. But if our minds are this easily hijacked, is there any hope? Echo chambers. The internet was supposed to expose us to diverse perspectives. Instead, it created the most sophisticated conformity machines in human history. Algorithms learn what you believe and feed you more of it. Every click, every like, every second of attention trains the system to give you content that confirms your existing worldview. You're not exploring ideas. You're descending into a tunnel of mirrors, each one reflecting your own beliefs back at you. And it happens so gradually, you don't notice. One day you look around and everyone in your feed agrees with you. Anyone who doesn't has been filtered out or unfollowed. The few dissenting voices that remain seem so obviously wrong, so clearly malicious, that you wonder how anyone could think that way. Your information environment is being curated without your knowledge. This is the new conformity. It's not 7 people in a room contradicting your eyes. It's millions of voices all singing the same song until you forget other songs exist. The result is epistemic tribalism. We don't just disagree with other groups. We can't even understand them. We're living in different realities, constructed by different algorithms, confirmed by different communities. But there's a way to break free. Intellectual humility. The antidote to a mind you can't trust is intellectual humility. Not weakness, not uncertainty about everything, but the recognition that your perception is limited, your reasoning is biased, and your certainties might be collective illusions. The fool thinks himself to be wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. Intellectual humility means holding your beliefs provisionally, remaining curious about perspectives that challenge you, actively seeking out the strongest versions of arguments you disagree with. It means asking yourself uncomfortable questions. Why do I believe this? When did I start believing it? Who benefits from me believing it? Would I believe this if my social group didn't? Socrates said he was the wisest man in Athens because he alone knew that he knew nothing. That's not false modesty. That's the prerequisite for actual thinking. The moment you become certain, you stop investigating. You stop questioning. You stop updating. Your mind calcifies around the belief and new information bounces off. But intellectual humility isn't enough on its own. You need a practical strategy. Steelman practice. There's a practice that can rewire how you think. It's called steelmaning, the opposite of a strawman argument. Instead of caricaturing opposing views, you construct the strongest possible version of them. You argue the other side better than its actual proponents do. Understand your opponent's view better than they understand it themselves. This is brutally difficult. Your mind will resist. It will feel like betrayal. You'll notice rationalizations arising, trying to sabotage the exercise. That resistance is exactly why you need to do it. When you can genuinely articulate why an intelligent, good-faith person might believe the opposite of what you believe, something shifts. The world becomes less black and white. Your enemies become humans with different information and experiences. And sometimes, you discover flaws in your own position you never noticed. Argue against yourself. Make this a regular practice. Take your most cherished beliefs and spend time attacking them. If they survive genuine scrutiny, your confidence in them is now earned rather than inherited. If they crumble, you've freed yourself from a delusion. Either way, you win. And this brings us to the ultimate question: conscious choice. You cannot escape having a mind that deceives you. You cannot escape social influence, conformity pressure, or the collective unconscious. These are features of human cognition, not bugs, but you can become aware of them. And awareness changes everything. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. Viktor Frankl wrote those words. In that space lies your freedom. The freedom to notice when you're being swept up. The freedom to pause before reacting. The freedom to ask whether this thought is truly yours. You will still be influenced. You will still sometimes be wrong. You will still feel certain about things that aren't true. But you can build a practice of returning to questioning. A habit of examining your certainties. A discipline of seeking out information that challenges rather than confirms. The prison door was never locked from the outside. Your mind may not be trustworthy, but that doesn't mean you're helpless. It means you have work to do. The work of knowing yourself. The work of questioning yourself. The work of becoming conscious in a world designed to keep you asleep. And that leads us to the most important insight of all. Your mind is not your friend. It's not your enemy either. It's a tool shaped by millions of years of evolution, designed for survival in tribes, not for perceiving objective truth. It will conform to keep you safe. It will construct realities that match your group. It will defend beliefs like it defends your body, because to your unconscious they are the same thing. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. But here's what Jung also understood. Awareness is power. The moment you see the mechanism, you gain some measure of control over it. You can't eliminate bias, but you can account for it. You can't escape influence, but you can choose your influences more carefully. You can't think without a brain that deceives, but you can build practices that reveal the deception. Awareness is liberation. The goal isn't to trust your mind completely. The goal is to watch it, to question it, to treat your own thoughts with the same skepticism you'd apply to a stranger trying to sell you something. Because in a very real sense, that's exactly what they are. Inherited programs, running on borrowed hardware, trying to convince you they are you. If you made it this far, comment "Mind Watch" to prove you're ready to become a conscious observer of your own psyche. Welcome to the Psyche Project. If this opened your eyes to what's really happening inside your head, hit subscribe for more psychological insights that transform how you see yourself and the world.